How are we doing? Yeah.
Candle burns, empty shells. Drain the fear from me, Mountain tops, raging seas.
Right on. Here we go.
Samael, uplift me. Ancient serpents, ancient vice.
I can. Yeah, we'll get started in just a sec. Just wait.
On and on, the shadows howling. Blocking the moon, darkened sky. Ancient knowledge, serpents rise. On and on, truth has no
Headphones might be good if you can. Right, I'll be right back. Hey! Wow! Whoa!
In the dark, pull the poison from me. Pull the poison down the path of lunacy. The other side
What's up, Graham?
is me.
Rita? How are we all doing?
Ancient serpents, ancient
Right.
tree of knowledge, time to bite. On and on,
Yeah, I'm your daddy.
shadows howling.
Uncle Crosif. Who let you in?
Blackened moon, the darkened sky.
That's such a dad joke thing to say. Who let you in here? I guess they're just letting anybody in here now, huh? Uncle Crosif always coming in through the back door. Ooh! Place. Oh, nice! Application for the Anglican priesthood, baby. Space ballers. Love it. Yeah, we've got Spektor Baal today. To be honest with you, I have nothing else planned. Okay, so fingers crossed that Spektor Baal can hang out for like an hour and a half. If not, I don't really have a lot else planned. But you know, I'm putting. Here's something I learned in broadcasting school. Put the onus on the bonus. You ever hear that? I heard that in broadcasting school. It means, you know, put all the pressure on your guest instead of on yourself. Put the onus on the bonus. So today our onus is Spektor Baal. Okay, cool. Yeah. You can for sure spank me. Here's the thing, and I'll get this out of the way. Spektor Baal will be able to... Spektor will be able to see the stream. He will not be able to hear sound alerts. I mean, again, always feel free to play them, but just don't expect a response. That's all. You don't have to be nice to it. I mean, he's cool. Listen. No, it's not about behaving. I talked to him for like a good while earlier today. He watched the stream. He thought it was really funny. He really liked all the comments. So be on your worst behavior. It's a technical limitation that I don't have all this stuff set up. That's all.
Pull the poison from me.
We can talk all about the middle pillar. He knows a lot about it.
Of lunacy.
people would be mean. I would love it if you could hear the sound alerts.
Ancient
I just didn't have it set up. I'm a little all over the place today, but
knowledge time
we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a good time. To ball out. I love that everybody is so excited to talk to Spektor Baal. That's cool. All his life. Hold space for my balls. Go balls deep. Yeah, I'll be blessed to you. Hey, be blessed. How's everybody doing? Let's get through that. I'm doing very good. I've had joy is the key. I've had 5 consecutive great weekends. You ever evaluate your life like that? You ever evaluate your life in terms of how's your weekends been, huh? Huh? You think about that? You ever think about that? So here I am. We've got Spektor Baal on the call. I've got the call on hold. Just hey, welcome to Hold Space for My Tribe. Let's start there, huh? Let's start with that. I am Mind Chopo. I'm your new dad, and I'm here to. Today I'm here to introduce you to someone that we've become familiar with in the past, year and a half. We've got a special guest today, name of Spektor Baal. He's an occultist and a gothic musician. We've watched his videos, we listened to his music, we're listening to his music right now. Pay attention to the weekends! Don't you know that it's so any questions you have for Spektor Baal, just put them in the chat.
Refrigerators.
Refrigerators too. Yeah, we can talk about the critic. We can definitely do that. I don't know how many people we've got here, but I'm conscious of our guest's time. So let's make it happen. This is a very special episode of Hold Space for my groin, and so here we go. Hey Spektor, how's it going?
Hey, hi, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for taking some
everybody.
time. Everybody's here, yeah. Looks like we've got about 38 people watching right now, so that's good. I think that's a lot of our usual audience. Who knows? Every once in a while we get some clowns popping in, but that's fun too. Yeah, thanks for taking time out of your day to come talk to us. We're all
Absolutely. It's weird though. I hear 2 of your voices, and I hear myself at the same time. So
we got to fix that. Must fix that. Are you watching the stream on Twitch? Maybe.
good. Now I pause it. Everything's cool now. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, God.
That will do it. We've already got questions pouring
Please,
in.
you.
And I have some of my own. But if just quickly, could you introduce yourself to anyone who might not be aware of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Okay, so everybody, I am Spektor Baal. I study the occult. I would consider myself more of a royal path in a way that I like to balance both sides between the light and the dark to create some sort of a gray space. Excuse me, I'm drinking lemonade and it's making me have a little bit of burp. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I am a gothic musician. All my music's very based on the occult and the experiences that I do, and also I run a YouTube channel, and I'm going to probably be reviewing occult movies, maybe occult video games, and trying to make it more to a wider audience and not be just so boxed in a small space.
Right. Yeah. The occult is kind of a niche thing. I mean, it's getting. I feel like it's become more and more popular. I don't know. I mean, wait, I mean, maybe it's just from my own digging into it in the past few years. But I feel like on platforms like TikTok, it's getting some more exposure and becoming a little bit more mainstream. Have you noticed that yourself?
I've noticed that on TikTok a bit. I have not really explored the occultists on TikTok.
Okay.
I've only explored some occultists on YouTube. And occultism, when it comes to the personal path, it's a personal thing
Yeah.
for everyone. There is not one set way of doing things. And that's what I dislike about the way certain people seem like they're preaching to people. And people don't like to hear preaching.
Yeah.
People want to go their own way, what they feel right, what's in their gut, and what's in their instinct.
That's interesting. So you would, I mean, maybe it's good to sort of get your definition of both the occult and your practice specifically. If you think that there's a difference maybe between the general definition of a cult and then what you do, or what you think the general understanding of the occult is and what you do. Is there some kind of differentiation between the two?
Well, look, occult means hidden, so it can mean many things. It doesn't just mean all of a sudden, oh, it's dark, it's evil. It just
Okay.
means hidden. And when people read into occult books, and I've read some in my lifetime so far, people look too deep into what they're reading, and then when they do the magic, or do the ritual, or do what they want to, achieve, that gets implemented into their mind, and are they actually seeing the true energy? The way I do things is I get a sort of idea of what I am doing, and then I go do it. Then, when I see the things that are shown to me, I will compare. Oh, this is what happened. So this is like a method of proving to yourself that it is somewhat it exists. Because a lot of people say, is it real or is it not real? I feel it really depends, but I do feel it's a 50-50. I do believe that these spirits exist. Some occultists think it's all in the mind. But in the end, does it really matter? Did you learn something, and are you going where you want to go spiritually?
Interesting. Okay, yeah, we're dipping right in. We're just getting dunked right now, and what I want to get dunked in, I'm dripping. Okay. So let's start with you said what you want to achieve. Could you maybe give a couple examples of things that you have sought to achieve through the occult?
Well, the things that I felt that I wanted to achieve is get to a place that I am aware of everything that's around me.
Okay.
Get to a place, some people want to call it godhood, okay?
Sure.
I like to call it to be more, we're all human, and we would like to take full advantage of that.
Yeah.
In a spiritual sense. That's how I look at it. Some people might call it godhood, and that's fine. I still consider myself a human. Okay.
Interesting. So sort of like a self-actualization type of thing, or maybe closer to enlightenment, or
I would consider it enlightenment, but remember, enlightenment to me is temporary.
okay.
We live in this world, we go to work, we eat, we go to the rest. Well, anyway, we do all the physical things we do in life.
Yes.
But to gain enlightenment, it's only temporary, because you gain a sense of yourself and become aware of something, and then you move on in the world. A lot of occultists are not Buddhists. They're not sitting there meditating for days and days and, days.
Uh-huh.
So I feel that enlightenment is temporary.
Okay.
When it comes to our life, it's up and down. And we learn things. We're on a path. Sometimes we fall off the path, and then we get right on the horse.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So you're sort of Would you say then that the work that you're doing in your practice would ideally benefit you, like beyond death, is like more permanent than your body? Is that sort of the idea?
I'm hoping so.
Okay.
Remember, when somebody ever tells you that I know what happens after death, turn around and run because nobody ever actually came back to tell what actually happened. So
Okay.
all these are just theories and ideas.
Interesting.
I would like to think this is what happens, but we truly are not going to know until we're in the grave.
Yeah. 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 Um, that's interesting. Well, I mean, okay, so then you've said, or I think you sort of implied that there's almost kind of a scientific method that you're using here, where you're practicing magic, and then you're looking for its effects in your life, and you're comparing, and you're do you have
Very
any?
scientific, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, do you have any examples in mind of experiments that have yielded results, and what
Okay,
those
well, I'll
results
give you a
were?
good example. I was
Great.
creating a sigil for invisibility.
Okay.
Okay. And I created the sigil. This was a couple of years ago. It was hilarious. It was a sigil for, oh yeah, I said invisibility. So anyway, I needed to grab a taxi, so I called 4 taxi services. You know what they told me? I'm sorry, we don't have a taxi. I'm like, 4. So then the 5th one, I took the necklace off. Do you have a taxi? Yeah, we have a taxi. Like, okay,
Interesting.
that's pretty right in my face right here. So
That's funny. Is it? I mean, do you think, because that's obviously not the literal, like,
no,
your body is not able to be seen, but you were
not paid
not
attention to.
not paying attention to.
So that's the thing. When it comes to magic, everybody, it's usually has to do in the mindset. You know what I mean? It's not
Uh-huh.
literal.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's so funny. I mean, that's a what you did was you created a necklace that inhibits the ability to get a taxi.
Well, I was just trying it out just to see if it worked. You know, and
Yeah.
it did.
That's amazing. Okay, cool. Yeah, and then so I guess that brings me sort of to the I guess we can get more into the weeds of what is your practice then usually. So it involves sigil magic.
It's a lot of has to do with sigil magic, but mainly practices change. Okay, at that point I was in sigil magic. Now a lot of it has to do with the astral plane.
Okay.
And when I do astral work, I like to get straight into the magic. A lot of magicians like to create tools and items, but sometimes people don't have time to create tools. Some
Yeah.
people live with roommates and live with people they can't get to do magic or what they need to do. So there has to be fast ways to get into the work. Very shamanic.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've watched a couple of your videos, and it does seem like it's involving meditation so that you can enter a trance, and then from there you're contacting entities, and so these entities that you contact, they are in the astral realm.
Yes, everything is in the astral realm. That's what I've noticed.
Okay, could you talk about that a little bit more in terms of, if everything is in the astral realm, then why designate it as a realm at all? Do you know what I mean?
Um, the way the way us as humans think, I mean, I would assume is that we like to put things in. There's a lot of labeling going around, but I think it's only because we need to figure out what goes on. That's just us as humans.
Yeah.
Um, I was taught that it is an astral realm. It's usually they say it's a mirror of the physical realm that we live in, and whatever is as above, so below. You probably heard that before.
Yeah.
But also, as below, so above, I guess, because it does happen the other way around.
Yeah.
Excuse me, man, this lemonade's strong. So,
I'm drinking a beer, so I'll be right there
no,
with you.
it's just, I'm drinking a lemonade. It's making me burp. I'm like, oh God, maybe I should have got alcohol. Anyway, it's just, for some reason, I've been on a lemon run. Like, I want to drink lemonade.
That's interesting.
So,
Yeah.
So when it comes to, I'll give you a really good example. Now, before I started doing the Goetia, I was doing a lot of meditation in the Tree of Life. Okay, I wanted to
Yeah.
reach my Godhead as fast as I possibly could,
Mm.
and I did. Now, when I did that, it was presented to me that I have to study the clip off.
Okay, so let's get some terms defined here for those that are watching. We've watched your stuff a little bit. My understanding of the Clipoth is that it is the inversion of the Tree of Life from which I know from studying Kabbalah. I guess, and to get to well, yeah, we're defining one thing by another thing that people also might not know. It's could you define the Tree of Life for us?
Well, the Tree of Life is a map of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And the simplest way to put it, it's just a map of the universe. We have Malkuth on the bottom, which represents the physical plane that we live in, and Kether, where, supposedly our Godhead lives, or
Yeah.
it depends on who you ask. Now, the Klipoth is an inversion of that. The Klipoth technically is really the tree of knowledge. That's what it is. It's the fruit that Adam and Eve ate from that tree, and supposedly that's how the fall happened, from the tree of knowledge. They were kicked out, so they didn't eat from the tree of life.
Yes.
So that is what it is. Now they say that the Klipoth there's different ideas of what the Klipoth, how it became. There's two theories. I didn't say ideas, but two theories. That one I read, I think I read it in Thomas Carlson's book of the Klipoth Magic. Or was it Donald Craig's Modern Magic? I really don't remember. That Gabora created. Gabora broke off. There's a sphere in the Tree of Life, Gabora, and it broke off, and it created the tree of knowledge. There's another idea that supposedly Yahweh, God, made a mistake, created the tree of knowledge, messed up, and then created the tree of life. Those are the theories I know.
Okay, and so this is the map that you're now following in order to achieve godhood.
Well, become more than I am, yeah. Become more aware of the surroundings of where I live.
Okay, right. Which would speak to it being designated as the tree of knowledge.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So does this sort of I mean, could you give some examples of the kind of knowledge that you gain from this practice?
Dealing with certain dark parts of yourself. Now the thing
Wow.
is, the tree of knowledge. There's a lot of people probably heard of shadow work. It's a bit of shadow work.
Okay.
Now I've noticed here in where I am, there's a lot of people in the New Age community. They don't deal with shadow work. They usually deal with the tree of life. It's all about love and light, which is fine, but then they don't pay attention to the other half. We have both halves in us. It's mostly gray than, I would say, black and white.
Yeah, I think that really comes through in a lot of the stuff that you do. I don't find you to be a magician who is, embracing darkness as an identity, or embracing, or yeah, you're not doing the spiritual bypass thing, which is a popular thing that people say now. So it's more of it's interesting because it almost makes it seem like, terms get thrown around like black magic. And so, is that okay?
It's you know what? Every time I hear somebody say I am the black magician, that's more of a view count on my point in YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Cool.
know, it's like, wait a minute. Usually you would ask another person who says they do black magic, which is fine, don't get me wrong, everybody could leave. I've heard people call themselves green witches and red witches and everything under the rainbow. And you know what? It doesn't all matter. Everybody's doing magic is magic. Who cares what color it is? So the idea for me, Thomas Carlson puts it well in his book, Goetic Magic, is that there's a royal path. And I do like that idea. So the royal path would be, in a gray area.
Okay. Gotcha. So, okay. So, how did you? I mean, did you ever experiment with the? Because I know you're a Gothic musician.
Yes.
So
that's what I started calling myself after I realized that all the music and lyric I'm writing is about magic.
Is about right, and and sort of about that shadow work a little bit, and about the. I mean, I know that you aesthetically, your tastes, you like horror movies, and you. We have watched the video about you talking about how Michael Jackson's Thriller was the first time you were ever exposed to the word occult, right?
Yes. I was obsessed with Jackson at one point, and I think Beat It was the song. But then I saw the videotape of Thriller in a video store, and I was like, oh, wow, what's this? And that's it. And I wanted to watch it. But then I wanted to watch the video. I didn't want to watch how the makeup was started. When you're a kid, you don't want to watch all that crap.
Yeah.
And but my favorite character as a kid was Friday the 13th. I like Jason.
Wow. Okay. So your tastes run towards the like sort of darker forms of entertainment anyway, and then so you're maybe as a younger person building kind of a I don't know, maybe a tolerance to that sort of thing. So then when you're doing shadow work or exploring the Qliphoth, it's maybe not as scary to you. Does that? I mean,
No. You know what? I have to tell you, when I started exploring this Qliphoth, because of all the things I've read in magic books of what it is, that scared me. And it's because of the magic books. I kind of separate the tolerance in movies that I watch. If I watch a horror movie, I know it's make believe. I know it's art. I know it's creation.
Yeah.
I don't really take it, When it comes to spiritual work, I don't look at it that way. It's art and creation. Yes, maybe when you're creating a ritual, it has to be drama. One thing Crowley had really good in his magic, he was very dramatized, it was theater. The more theater you put in magic, the more will and ideas you put in the goal you want to achieve. I feel that magic will be stronger. So when it comes to movies, no, that had nothing to do with that. I just was obsessed with the graphics and the effects, the practical effects that they used back then.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I'm into that too. I feel like that's a sort of a lost art a little bit. That kind of, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really keep up with horror movies much anymore.
Oh, I don't either. I mean, I don't know any new horror movies. I mean, what was the last new horror movie I watched? Wait a minute. The remake of Candyman. Man, there's so many damn remakes.
Oh, yeah.
I like the remake, actually. I think they did a pretty good job.
Oh, that's cool. That's good to hear. Yeah, what about another question I've seen pop up in the chat a couple times now is about your name. What is there a significance to it? Was there maybe a journey to you coming on this name?
Spektor is really my name. Baal was only added because I was working with the thunder god Baal.
Okay.
And the idea I had, I don't know how accurate this is, but my mentor in magic told me that there's actually two gods.
Okay.
In a way that in the first part of the Bible it was Baal, the thunder God. And then when kings came, and I might be wrong, there was a fight between the tribes and Yahweh won over.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a similar
So,
thing. Yeah.
and that was interesting because Baal, think about it. You believe in another God, I break your arm, or I kill you. But anyway, very jealous God. But then
Yeah.
makes me think Baal just seems like that type of God. So I'm like, you know what? And also, I think in Hebrew, Baal also means Lord of the house.
Okay.
So, I guess Lord of myself.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, was there a specific event in working with Ball that led you to maybe feel
No,
some
I
sort of
just worked
connection?
with him. I just worked with him a lot
Okay.
at that point, and I felt that because I also did not want to feel from a musical point of view that if you type in Spektor, you're going to see Regina Spektor. So I had
Sure.
to do something.
Yeah, coming up with a band name is nearly impossible now. There's almost nothing. I was tell me what you think about this band name. Hair Care Sump Pump.
There's a band name like that?
Well, what if there was? What would you think about it?
Hair Care Sump Pump.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just imagine somebody freaking standing here doing some pump action and shit. And then, that's all I could think about. Somebody, you ever saw Amish Paradise with Weird Al?
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Remember he was doing this with the pump?
He's churning the butter.
That's what it feels like when I hear that band name.
Okay, cool. We have another question in the chat. Ask him if he primarily evokes or invokes deities.
This is a very good question, everybody.
Oh,
Now,
big ups to Eldridge Gravy for the very good question.
Eldridge, great question. It depends. If I'm starting to meet a new spirit that I've never met before, I'm going to evoke them because I don't know what my body's reaction going to be. I don't know how this deity is going to feel. And I also feel that it's like, let's say somebody knocks at your door and you say, come and sit in. I mean, come and sit down, right? You want to invite them. You want to know them.
Right.
You don't want to just, take them, throw them down and start to me, it's kind of an attack. That's why in the last video, I said it's kind of like sex. In a way, it's that invocation. Now, this is funny. When there's different ideas of what technically, if you look at the dictionary, it seems evoke and invoke is technically the same thing. But if you look but the idea of magicians of how they take it, and I think it came out of Crawley that it's kind of two different things, and that's what I learned. It's just somebody brung it up that is in a Golden Dawn member, it seems, and they're like, well, it's this way. I'm like, really? I've never heard it this way. So you always learn new things of different definitions.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a door-to-door salesman. He said, "You're a pest on the doorstep and a guest at the dinner table."
Oh wow, that's actually interesting. That's pretty cool. Actually, I like the way that sounds.
It's
Anyway,
good. It's got a ring to it, doesn't it?
a pest and a guest. Anyway, so if I don't know the spirit, I will evoke them. Once I get to evoke them and I feel that we have a good connection, I will ask them if I can invoke you so I could hear you better.
So what are the risks? You talk about your body having a reaction to the spirits. What's on the line here?
There's different types of invocations. Now,
Okay.
usually the invocation I've always had is a partial one. I've never had a full body invocation. I don't know if that has to do with the way my brain is programmed. It depends on the person. Okay. Everybody's an individual on how they take energy. Now, when I have an invocation, I feel like there is like my mind shrinks. Like right now, I feel that my mind or self is in my head. But when I do the invocation, I feel that it starts shrinking and then going down into my chest area. Okay. And then when that happens, I feel a feeling of something else with me.
Wow. Okay.
And it depends on the spirit. Okay, sometimes I invoked Lilith and felt very sensual.
Yeah.
Okay. I would invoke I've invoked Lucifer before, and my ego was so big that I thought that I was the best in the world. Now, the thing is with anybody who tries to do any of this work, I would suggest it's temporary. If you are invocating, you know you have to wait. Like after you do the ritual, you got to wait till you come back to yourself. This is all temporary.
Hmm.
Okay? Sometimes your mind or self is going to expand so wide for you to know later that, oh, I'm being an asshole. Oh, my ego's too big. You understand? It's inflating on purpose for you to learn a lesson on how it feels when you are out of balance in your
Wow.
day-to-day activities. Okay.
Okay. That I just had uh the aha the
Please do.
I think I understand your practice a lot more yeah, because of what you just said. So it's almost like a um I think people get this a lot when they do psychedelics or
Oh, yeah, exactly.
there's more. It's just it's a shift in perspective that shows you that the way your mind is, the way that you normally think, isn't the only way, and you're almost getting like yeah, it's like empathy. You're getting empathy, but you're doing it with sort of by yourself in a way, but not from another human. But you're getting empathy from like specific aspects of of human psychology in a way, right? Does that sound
Hmm.
about right?
Sounds about right. Never heard it put that way, but yes, I agree.
That's so interesting. Wow. Um, oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Because yeah, I've watched you make contact with other entities. And, a lot of the time, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is because a lot of the times it seems like you're having these sort of like very normal conversations with, say, Aleister Crowley or, something from the Goetia or something. And to me, it seems like, wow, he's not asking really for anything. But you're sort of being when you're invoking, you're being embodied by the entity. So
Yes.
it's not really so much of a hey Lucifer, tell me what it's like to be an asshole. It's more like no, you're feeling it. You're in it.
You want to, they're different. You want to grow in some way. And these entities have things that they have things that we could learn, you know?
Yeah.
And all these entities are in somewhat part of us, okay?
Yeah.
Um, I do believe they exist. Like I said, I do think it's a 50-50. Some magicians think it's all in the mind. I don't.
Yeah.
And I think it's limiting to think like that. I
Yeah.
remember one time I met a Lilith group where I am, and the woman says, "I believe in Satan and I am an atheist."
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense to me logically. So I'm like, okay, but to each his own.
That's that. Yeah, that sounds like the Temple of Satan people. They don't really believe in Satan. They're more of like a religious freedom organization.
Which is fine. I mean, we
Yeah.
all have that rebellion in us, okay? Especially it depends on the parents we grew up with.
I have oodles. I have oodles of rebellion, Spektor. I must tell you. Um,
Thank you for sharing.
wow, that's okay. That's really interesting. So then, on the subject of contacting Aleister Crowley, I mean, this is a person who has passed away. So, are you thinking of this as a spirit, as a ghost, or as an idea, as cosmic residue?
There. You
Cosmic
just hit it on the
residue.
nail. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is what one of the Goetia spirits told me. Unfortunately, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Vapar.
Mm.
Anyway, he told me that when somebody passes on, something gets left in the dirt, like residue or an image.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And we have one thing that moves on and one thing that's left. And I think what I was talking to is what's left,
Okay. Interesting. That's
which
interesting.
kind of makes sense to me, actually.
Yeah, I mean that makes me think of I mean it's almost cliche to try to apply like um quantum physics stuff to spirituality or to human matters, but it's kind of I've thought about that in terms of like I read that there is no absolute time and space. You know what I mean? Like you can't ever return to the exact spot you were just standing in because time continues and they're interwoven. And so it is that to me implies that the location of objects or people or particles, you know, sort of does leave a trail. How we would access that trail, I have no idea, and I really am talking straight out of my sacral chakra here. But yeah, I don't think that that's really. I guess what I'm trying to say is that a lot of what you're saying is not really that bizarre in the way that someone who maybe would come upon your work and would think, oh, okay, this guy is an occultist. He's a magician. Like that's going to be too crazy for me. I don't think anything that you've said here today is really that out of the ordinary.
It isn't.
Yeah.
This is what's important. And but there's some things I would like to when you deal with necromancy,
Yeah. Let's
because
please.
that's what it was.
Yeah. Right.
You got to be careful. And the reason why is this. Imagine that you have a spark of light, okay?
Yeah.
And these entities are residues of what was, okay? Could be ghosts. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I just know that there's prints or something of a photo, something left over,
Yes.
okay? Now, they see this spark of light. It's like bees to honey, you understand?
Ah.
And they won't leave you alone.
Wow.
You need to make sure that you put your foot down and say, "Leave me alone."
A lot of what you say, there's a lot of preparation and a lot of safety concerns.
Yeah.
Like you talk about having a familiar.
Well, a familiar is really an animal, but it also just means an entity with no body.
Uh-huh.
Um, it could be a helper spirit there. I mean, there's different names. The reason why I said a familiar is that you feel more safer when dealing with this.
Hmm.
Okay, you contact an entity that you know you have a good relationship, and then you guys go meet a spirit that you never met before. And I always, this is my method. I always do this. I
Yeah.
don't.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, we got you. You're back. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, it happens.
Sorry.
No, it's no problem. So,
Oh no, I got my. Maybe he's got his invisibility sigil on. Okay, we got you back again.
is it fine now?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, is it my internet? I mean, I have a pretty fast internet.
I think mine's solid too, but you never know.
Um, okay, so where was I? Okay, so it's if you are somebody knocks at your door and they're with a friend that you know, you'll invite them in. Somebody freaking stranger knocks at your door and says, "Hey, what the fuck are you? Who the hell are you? Get the hell out of
Yes.
here."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you're gonna have a defense reaction right away, because you're not expecting them. So
Yeah.
that's why I feel taking something with a spirit you never met with, a familiar or some sort of entity, would help ease the tension between you conversating with that spirit.
Yeah, that's we've talked about that a lot. We there was one stream I did where I found a lot of videos of people contacting the ghost of Robin Williams. Um,
Okay, no, I'm not saying anything. Just because you're saying that, I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh no, man, it's funny. It's it's full on
Who the fuck
comical.
are you? My question to you is, who the fuck are you?
My
Question
sorry.
me.
Somebody's
Huh?
playing a
Who the
sound clip
fuck
right
are
now.
you?
We
I bet
have
you're
that set
fucking
up so that
nobody,
people can do
and
that.
you just got fucking
You
programmed
can't
by
hear
all
them.
the shit that
No,
fucking
I know.
ATN is talking about.
I heard you in
Who
the
the fuck
beginning
are
of
you?
the-
My
of the,
question to
you know,
you
the
is, who the
Okay.
fuck are you?
Somebody's
Question
playing
me.
the longest
Huh?
one we have
Who the
twice.
fuck are you? I
So
bet you're
I
fucking
can't-
nobody,
it's-
and
my
you just
brain
got
cannot
fucking
handle that much
programmed by all the
input
shit that fucking
at
ATN
once.
is talking
We got to
about.
get rid of that one. I'm done with that one. Okay, anyway. But so they're contacting the spirit of Robin Williams, and one thing that we all kept saying was, what would make Robin Williams, you know, in the afterlife or whatever, or his cosmic residue, what would make him say, yeah, I have time to talk to you, you know, like what is the, it's not like, I mean, do you ever feel that way with the entities you contact? Like, do you have to you have to offer something to them, or that you have to be bringing something to the table, or are they mostly just like, okay, yeah, I have time for this?
It depends on the entity.
Okay.
Okay, because sometimes entities would usually, if I met an entity that I've never met before, what do you want?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
why are you here? Or, you know.
Yeah.
Crawley, when I was talking to him, he didn't feel very loving.
Uh-huh.
It just felt very. The way I could put this is that I could feel it's, and I don't know if this is my perception of this is happening. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say straight this is how he felt, because sometimes when you're doing things like this, you're really trying to feel things around you to know, did I say this? Or was this real? Now, the way I did that video is the way he said it. I never talk like that. Why would I call myself a fool?
Sure.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And that's how you know certain things. It's like, well, okay, I actually wouldn't call myself.
Oh no, we're losing him again. Ooh. That's timely. We have time for that. Here, hold on. It says it's reconnecting. This is good. This is interesting. I do want to ask him about the horniest entity. I saw somebody asked about that. I would love to see that here. I'm gonna call him back. Sometimes you just got to do that. Because I bet it's Lilith, right? It's got to be Lilith. My money's on Lilith for horniest entity. Are we? No. He picked up.
Please, you.
Peace me. Horny ghost. Hey, we got you?
Yeah, but I pressed the video. It doesn't show anything.
Weird. I wonder if I can request that or something. Yeah, right. Why would you call yourself a fool? I get that. Yeah, what was I going to ask? Oh, I mean, so do you think that this practice involves quite a lot of, like, silencing your own mind? Like, getting out of the way?
That's a big part of it. I think that's the most important thing, is to silence your mind.
Yeah, I mean, because that seems like again, we're talking about, what's the effect of the practice rather than if the entities are real or whatever. Do you feel like that's benefited you in other ways, just having sort of more of a command over your thoughts?
You mean what, a command over myself?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. I'm just sorry. I'm just reading. We could not connect your selected camera. Please select a different camera. What the heck? What do you mean you couldn't connect my camera? Sorry, I'm listening to you while I'm trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with my camera.
I think you're wearing that invisibility sigil. I think that thing's in your pocket.
Oh, yeah. Right, I wish. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. My camera's acting up. It is retrograde right now, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we had a whole episode about how, yeah, we're all fucked because Mercury's in retrograde right now. So yeah, I am aware. I'm aware. This is how it manifests from time to time. We just a quick question that we had in the chat.
I'm in India. I'm in India.
Let me just play this out.
I'm in India. I'm in India.
What's the horniest entity you have ever encountered or that you know of? Or did I? No. That feels like a weird one to just leave hanging in the air. I hope you can hear. I hope you can hear me. It's got to be Slimer. Is it Slimer? Do you like Ghostbusters? Okay, cool.
No, I just reconnected it from another place.
Oh, gotcha.
So hopefully, now the horniest entity, I think that depends on the individual. I think it depends how horny the magician is.
Wow. Really?
Yes.
So it'd be possible to, or is it okay? Does it? So it depends on how horny the magician is. Would it depend on if the magician is appealing to the entity, like if you're Lucifer's type, for example?
I do believe when it comes to that they do have their likes. I really do. I think sometimes the entity might not even like you.
Okay. Yeah. Another thing I just thought of. So if we're talking about Crowley, for example, you contacting what's left behind in the dirt, do you think that it's a similar thing for an entity like Lucifer? Like sort of, does Lucifer exist now, or are you contacting something outside of time, something embedded in time?
That's a good question. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
When it comes to residue in the dirt, I understood that has to do with humans.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, but I will tell you this is interesting.
Yeah.
You got now. I think different gods and different beings, demons, are all aware of each other. Now, they say a lot of magicians like to say the goetic spirit is parts of different gods or their old dead gods.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Now, I agree to that. But they're like, I read one magician said, oh, Baal is part of this deity, that deity, this deity, that deity. I don't think it's like that. I think it's different. I think they were gods at one point. I do think Baal, at one point, the thunder god, turned into Baal.
Okay.
Baal is aware of that god. He's aware of that part. Because when I dealt with Baal, I went to Baal and I asked, are you aware, Baal? He said, that's something I was at one point.
Interesting.
But he's aware that he was but when I contact the other one, he's aware of him.
God entered the body like a body myself.
Interesting. So, I mean, these are beings in the astral plane that you're talking about, entities that are maybe not entirely physical as we would define.
No, they're not physical. No.
Okay. Right.
That's why I really am skeptic when a magician says, I physically saw them.
Right.
Out of what? What did you physically see them? They have to have something to form into. You in what?
Yeah.
So I don't believe that,
That's, interesting.
You could. Crawley try to make them into smoke.
Oh.
Light incense and then try to see it in smoke.
Interesting. Do you, you
Did my
talked
camera
about
just go off? Oh, there it is again. Okay. Anyway, what?
So you're talking. You mentioned things that you don't believe, magicians saying things
I don't have any
that you're
tolerance
skeptical of.
for lying, piss
Yes.
drinking.
I wonder if 'cause I feel this way. I feel like mysticism and I mean you could say religion as a whole is sort of fertile ground for the charlatan. Do you share that view?
I'm trying to understand what you mean when you mean by charlatan. It's a groundwork for somebody who lies as a snake salesman.
Yeah, sure. Or
Okay,
even
I'm
just
trying to
someone
understand
who's
what you mean.
looking to manipulate other people, because these are things that are not physically visible that we're talking about, and these things do rely a lot on intuition and feeling and I don't know. Could you speak to that? Have you encountered someone that you think is kind of full of shit and using this for nefarious purposes, or is that not so much a thing in your sphere?
I try not to pay attention to what I mean. If I feel that somebody is full of shit, I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to say it. I don't want unless I see somebody hurting somebody in a direct way.
Okay.
I feel that some there's certain ways. I'll give you a good example. There was one Golden Dawn group that I tried to join at one point, long time ago, and I had a lot of magic under my belt, but I wanted. Everybody's curious: do I go solo? Do I go in a group?
Yeah.
And I was wondering about that at one point. It really doesn't matter because in the end, you gain what you gain, and then you go on your path.
Yeah.
But they told me you have to forget about magic. You have to not do what you do. You have to stop talking about demons. This we will teach you this way. At least for about 2-3 years. That was very hard for me to say, yeah, sure, So everything that I've experienced and learned, you're telling me to. I'm sorry, the golden yawn. Anyway. Anything that is telling me to forget my experiences and things in my life, it's kind of hard to say no for 3 years. Say, yeah, I'm not going to remember that.
Right.
So that wasn't for me.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess I am very, your practice and your beliefs seem to be very focused on individualism and
Yes.
yeah. Have you had good experiences with magic groups before?
No. You could say that. Listen, everybody's experiences different things. Just because my experience was a little doesn't mean that everybody's experience is going to be. Look, there's so many different magic groups.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer, at the moment, doing what I do in magic. Will I join a group in the future? Maybe. I am somewhat connected still with the Dragon Rouge, but it's more of an, you do what you do and you could do our stuff too. You know what I mean?
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like...
There is no, you do this and that's it.
That sounds more like your speed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't like that there's rules set into place. And don't get me wrong, rules are great if you want to do it for your own growth.
Yeah.
But it just didn't feel right. Plus, I'm always, even though I go down the royal path, I still am inclined to go down the left-hand path or whatever everybody wants to call it.
Sure. Yeah, I understand. How do you get connected to these groups? I mean, has the
internet.
This is a question that I actually had written down for you, and that is, I wanted to hear a little bit about how the internet has impacted magic as a community, and then also in your own life. because I know you've been practicing for a while. I don't know how long, but I can imagine that this stuff would have been a lot harder to get into, you know, pre-internet, pre-social media, really. I mean, what was your experience with that like?
Well, the pre-social media. You want to hear something funny?
Yes.
At one point, I was ditching school to read magic books. So I would ditch school to go to the library to read magic books.
Yeah.
My first book was Buckland's Book of Witchcraft.
Uh-huh.
I did read the Satanic Bible.
Yeah.
I remember going into a store called Panpipes in LA.
Panpipes?
Yeah, Panpipes.
Nice.
I don't know if you know that store.
I don't.
There was a guy that worked there, and I was fascinated with the magic, the chalices and the swords and the statues. And he's like, "What?" And I'm a kid. I'm like 13 or 14 years old.
You're like, I thought you guys sold kitchenware, pans.
Like that. So he's like, "What are you doing with the Satanic Bible? You got to read some Kabbalah." It's like King of Solomon. But my first book that I actually opened in the magic store was the Goetia. Had no idea what the hell it was.
Yeah.
But I've been going on and off with magic. Like, it's been serious in my life for the past, I would say, 15, 16 years. But before I would read it, and then I would go and do this. Another funny thing is that Warlock was one of my favorite movies, and only because when I saw it as a kid, I'm like, I want to throw fire from my hand, and I know that magically you can't really do that, but it was a good idea to actually start looking into the occult.
Yeah, that's interesting. Magic being a presence in your life, is that something that you're open about with people in your life, or do you tend to kind of, like, how many dates would you have to go on with a person before this is brought up?
Oh no, I don't close that up.
This is first date material.
Yes, and some people, they get frightened.
Yeah.
Why? If you go, yeah, but when it comes to job settings or going for work, you're not gonna go say, "Hey, look at this! I'm wearing a skull necklace." It depends where you work.
Right. Yeah. You have to be.
But when it comes to my personal life, it's different.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Has anyone ever taken an interest in magic, sort of because of hanging out with you?
Yes, my mom knows that I'm an occultist. She's really upset at me. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
No, I just see that. Yeah, my mom always tells me, "Jesus." I'm like, no, don't worry, Ma. Everything's going to be fine. I don't want to be with the evangelists up there. She's not an evangelist or anything like that. It's just, she just worries.
Yeah.
Do you notice that a lot of older people, I'm not going to say elderly or older people, start looking toward religion because we as human beings really don't want to just die and then it all ends?
Absolutely. I mean, I find it interesting that, you leave a group of people alone for long enough, and they will eventually develop a religion. I feel like it does a lot for the human psyche to have some reassurance and like a framework. So yeah, I understand that, but I also, I don't know. I was not raised religiously, really. So I
wasn't either.
Okay.
My mom is because she's an older lady, she's just looking into that stuff. That's all. She's not religious.
Well, and then
my dad and I grew up more Jewish.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think for most people, you start talking about Lucifer, or you're reading the Satanic Bible and stuff, like, that freaks people out generally,
Oh, absolutely. And I feel because they just don't know, but it's a good thing to keep everybody away from you if you don't want to talk to anybody.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I've always thought of, I guess because I was into like rock music as a kid, I always just kind of thought of Satan as like a kind of like a cool comic book character.
Okay, so what? I'm curious. What was your favorite groups? And everybody else, put in the chat. What was your favorite groups of rock music, metal?
Okay, yeah. Well, so when I was young, like very young, my parents were very into music, so I grew up listening to like a lot of like classic rock on the radio and stuff. Wow, two people just said Rush.
Yeah, I saw that. I liked Rush. I was a Judas Priest, but my favorite guy was King Diamond.
You're into King Diamond.
I love King Diamond.
That tracks, man. Yeah.
I mean, I think the first time I heard King Diamond was at there was I went in it wasn't even a record shop. It was Salvation Army, and I saw Fatal Portrait.
Uh-huh.
And I picked it up, and my friend's like, "It's satanic." I'm like, "We're gonna listen to it." No.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's kind of the appeal of a lot of that stuff. Like, it's like having like a Ouija board thing, or like having a seance with your friends, like or watching a horror movie. Like there's like an element of danger there. That's cool, but like I guess as a kid I kind of more thought of Satan as like almost just like a mascot of like super cool stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like
No, it was cool. I remember having a Baphomet in the room, and my mom's like, "Why do you have that on the wall?" I said, "Leave it alone." And it made me feel somewhat safe. I wasn't really the most popular kid in school.
Do you think that pushed you further into magic?
No, I think magic did. I think the music helped push me into magic. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
When you're listening to King Diamond and How Like a Wolf When a Witch Will Open the Door, you're like, oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because I mean, well, so do you have memories of like the satanic panic, as it's called now?
I remember that, but I didn't watch. I remember memories of the AIDS panic.
Well, sure. Yeah. Much more serious panic.
But I remember something of the satanic panic, but I was playing so much Super Nintendo that I probably didn't care. All I played was Castlevania 4.
That makes sense. It makes me really happy to hear that you found the things that you liked pretty early on.
No, that's important. Everybody find the things that you like, because experience them and, feel thankful that you're actually happy at one point. Joy comes in, it's not always there. It comes in like bursts. So experience the feeling while it's there.
Happiness comes in hours. Yeah. Did you ever feel pressure?
ABBA's great. Anyway, what?
ABBA does rule. Yeah.
I love ABBA.
Did you ever feel pressure to stop exploring magic? Did you ever feel, or to be more, quote unquote normal?
Oh, that's a good question. See, this is the thing that happens. Now, you have to find a balance between normal and magic. Because sometimes if you go too far into magic, forget about everybody thinking you're a nut. But you're not going to get shit done in life. You're not going to pay your bills. You're not. I mean, I've seen people go, oh, I'll be taken care of. They do some magic, but they won't go look for anything. They won't do anything.
Yeah.
They just wait. Magic, you have to do things too. You can't just sit around, do magic, and wait. It's like a push, So you need to find a balance between real life. Well, when I say real life, I mean normal, and magic.
Yeah.
I do see some magicians that I feel that are a little bit ungrounded. They're a little bit over there.
That's sort of a recurring theme. Like you see quotes from people who have dabbled in magic, and a lot of them say like, don't start down that path because you'll lose your mind. Do you think that's what they're talking about? Like, just sort of
Well,
the
they
tendency?
lost their mind. That's why.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, remember, when you're doing magic, the loss of mind is because I feel that I don't feel everybody should do magic. Okay. At one
Interesting.
point, when I felt, because it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Sometimes I felt like, okay, give you an example. A person is happy, they want to spread the happiness, but man, they have to have some serious dopamine hitting their brain if they want to do that.
Yeah.
It's the same with magic. It's the same with people with religion. I found Jesus. Let me give you Jesus. Hey, listen, I don't want any Jesus. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's the whole point. That's why I'm not saying it's for everybody. You need to want it.
Interesting. Yeah, because I feel like there's this sort of, in other philosophies and other systems of religion, there is this pressure of like, well, if you're not seeking enlightenment now, then in a few more incarnations, you will be. And, or like, why not? Why aren't you, in that way that it is for everyone?
Yeah, it's not for them now. That's the whole point. That's what I mean by that. Not
Okay.
because I felt that I believe in certain past lives I was already a magician. So in this incarnation of myself, I'm continuing it. Because I already, yeah, I do believe that do you believe that you lived here before? I mean, in this life.
To be honest with you, no. My personal my problem with reincarnation is that to me it seems like another system of like good boy bad boy. Like,
Okay.
if you didn't do it right, then you come back again. And then
Oh, I don't look at it that way. That's BS.
yeah,
There's
to
no
me, like,
good or
that's
bad.
just heaven and hell in a different. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like I feel like on a human level, on an interpersonal level, on a global level, I do think that there is, obviously I have like moral standards and ethics, but at the same time I feel like to place a label of right and wrong, to have that judgment on sort of like a, I don't know, like a grander scale, a cosmic scale, doesn't really make sense, because I think that we live in a causal universe, and things are the way they are. So to place like, that kind of judgment on something that is, apparently eternal doesn't really make a lot of sense to me on that scale. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, and I do not agree. I don't think reincarnation is some sort of a punishment.
Okay. Yeah, what's your take on it?
I feel that it's a learning process. We're just learning, and we're writing out the experience.
Yeah.
We're dealing with the experience, and then we die, and then if we chose to reincarnate again, it's because we probably need to figure something out. But I really don't think it's some sort of, you've been a bad boy, so now you're getting reincarnated. I don't believe that.
Interesting, but then what is the I mean, maybe I'm just uncovering something about myself, but I do see it as a system of of course you want to move on, like that's the desirable thing. So
Yeah.
in a way, isn't that a reward? And like, who or what determines that I still have something to figure out, and that I'm not perfect as I am?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Then I am fucked. I'm gonna be here forever.
You, because there is a sense in the occult that there is a higher self, or the Godhead, okay? And
Yeah.
I consider the holy guardian angel, okay?
Yeah.
In the Golden Dawn, there's an idea of the holy and guardian angel, and that is something of some sort of a guide that I feel that is like something that is larger than you, but part of you, and more aware of what you need to be aware of.
Okay. I guess then, yeah, man, I just come up with so many questions though. It's like I need to be aware of it for what, and why, why am I not already aware of it if I should have been? Like,
But you're
trees-
already asking the questions, man.
That's
That's
true.
the question. There's some people in this world that all they need is, a booty call and they eat, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They don't ask any of these questions. Oh, look at the stars. Hey, what's on TV? So
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
kind of it. So you're already asking the questions. So that's already a big, good place to be in. I mean, I consider.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I've always been interested in this stuff, but I feel like lately in my life too, though, like I'm a lot less anthropocentric than I once was, like, and I feel like, I mean, it's very cliche, but it's like you don't apply the same kind of logic to trees or to
But that's the problem with humans. Humans have to think of something has to. I noticed a lot of occultists. No, I didn't grow up around a lot of occultists. Somebody asked.
Oh, I did. I actually did though. I think they're talking about me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't. Give you an example. An animal, right? I feel an animal is okay. We're also animals. People who put humans on the higher chain of evolution. I think that's BS. Okay. I feel animals. They live in the moment.
Right.
That's the problem with human beings. We don't fucking live in the moment. Excuse my language.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that screws us up. Sometimes I've noticed the cultists, this has to mean something. Sometimes things don't mean shit.
Yeah.
It just happens. And a lot of people look into too much. But if something repeats itself, like when something repeats itself 2 times, 3 times, okay, this might fucking mean something now. Because it repeated itself already constantly. But if it's one thing, it means something. No, it doesn't mean anything. Relax.
Yeah,
Get crazy.
I guess I just get more into like once I started sort of thinking of myself, being aware of my brain, if this makes sense, like being aware of the mechanisms of my mind and being aware of like, okay, if I'm seeing patterns in things, well, that makes sense because as a survival technique, you do need to be aware of patterns. And
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I guess I just kind of think of things a lot more in that way. I guess a bit more materialistic, which I really didn't used to be that way, but lately that makes a lot more sense to me. And in the way we're talking about pragmatism, I think it's helped me a lot to not have this narrative of, oh, I'm being shown this for a reason, but I'm more thinking of it, oh, I'm noticing that because maybe I'm a little afraid and maybe I'm trying to protect myself,
That's absolutely fine. Now, the thing about if something repeats itself, let's say you have an act or something happens that 2 or 3 times it's been thrown in your face, then you might say, hey, this might be something being shown to me.
Yeah.
It
Well,
depends how many times it's thrown in your face.
I guess I just get into the thing of shown to me, by who or what, and maybe it's exactly, by me. Like, so this is a habit I have or some kind of a pattern. I prank called an astrologer on the stream last week, and he was really giving it to me about my behavior patterns.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty funny, man.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's gonna have an opinion.
Yeah.
On what one should do with their life. Also take a look at where they're in their life too.
Oh yeah, I mean, this guy was hilarious, but I do think that you and I see things very similarly. It's
I'm
just
a ballist. Thank you. That's funny.
Yeah, but just sort of from slightly different angles. But I think
no, it seems very similar. The thing is
Yeah.
this: I'm very practical when it comes to magic. I'm not I'm not loopy. I'm sorry to say that, but there's some magicians that are loopy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's why we tend to gravitate towards your stuff, is because you are very rational, and it seems like your practice has a lot to do with your mind, and sort of mastery of that, or understanding it at least.
No, understanding. Anyway, understanding it.
Yeah.
Mastery. I don't know when I'll get there.
Oh, I never will. I absolutely never will. Yeah.
I mean, probably when I'm dead, I might be mastered, but then it'll be some other mind that I need to master at that point. This would be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you said if anybody who says they know what happens after death is full of shit,
Yeah,
essentially.
turn around and run.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about death? I don't expect you to know, but what's
I do not know, but I'm hoping that the work that I do now, like, I feel very close to Lilith, okay? And I feel very close to that part. I'm hoping that that's where I go, when I'm dead.
It's like to be with Lilith?
No, to be in that area, in the tree of knowledge in that area, I'm hoping that, or something in that matter, some sort of enlightenment in a way. Okay, so everybody believes in different things. Some people believe, that they're going to join God, Yahweh, whoever God you want to believe. Some people believe this will happen or that will happen. A friend of mine told me a very good reason, a good idea. Like, okay, not a good idea. Sorry, my brain just went farted. But a good phrase, and I never thought of it. I was like, this is really good. There was an idea between the right-hand path and the left-hand path. The right-hand path always wants to join God, okay? The left-hand path wants to become God.
Okay. Yeah.
So this friend of mine, dear friend of mine said, so what is the choice? Become the mountain or be the mountain? I mean, join the mountain or become the mountain? I'd rather become the mountain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really cool. So I'm hoping that the growth that I do now, the enlightenment that I gain from this, will make me more aware when I die. I don't want to say pass on, because people pass on is a soft way of saying, where did they go? Where did they pass? I mean, logically, they didn't pass anywhere. They died.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
they say probably pass to the other, but I just feel they're dead.
yeah.
So,
I use that phrase when I feel like it's not socially acceptable to be so blunt,
No, I know. If it's a dear friend or something,
Yeah.
I will say my condolences and things like that, of course. I'm not going to say, oh, your friend died. I mean, I'm not heartless like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, when we're talking here, it's dead.
Yes.
I feel that what I believe, hoping I will go to the things I believe in. Do I know
Interesting.
that's going to happen? I don't know, but I'm hoping that will happen.
What do you hope it'll be like? I mean, is there sensation? Is there?
I'm hoping it will be some sort of understanding of who I am.
Wow.
From an energy point of view, and who I am is or who I was. That's a good one. That's better. Who I was, because you're dead, so you don't know what you're going to turn into. I can never understand the idea of Muslims in some religions where they say, well, there'll be 20,000 virgins waiting for me, and
you said the prospect of a sensory reward.
Exactly.
Not that you don't understand Muslims.
I understand that. I'm just talking about, because I'm thinking of it as a physical sense.
Right. Yeah, and the body's dead, right? So
I'm not thinking anything physical when it comes to that. This is all
Same.
dead. This is gone. No TV, no keyboard. I'm going to miss singing. I love singing.
yeah.
It's all gone. So it's going to be something different.
See, my thing, I feel like my identity is like in my brain. I feel like there's no way that could pass beyond the physical, if there's anything beyond the physical. I think that my identity is coded into my physical brain.
That absolutely makes a lot of sense, and I do feel that that part of that residue that gets left over, I think that's what gets imprinted in the earth.
Interesting. Yeah. You talking about preparing for death too. That I think it's Tibetan Buddhism where they kind of have that too, where preparing you for the bardo between life and death, about remembering that this was all a dream so that you can leave. Have you ever read about that?
No, I have not, and I probably should.
It sounds very similar.
No, I will say this is the funny part. Another dear friend of mine told me, what happens if we're actually dead now, and when we die, we'll be alive? I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Never thought of that. Maybe we're dead right now.
Sure.
Because we really don't know. I mean, a lot of it I do feel. I just don't like when a lot of people usually say, this is the real life. What you see is what you get. I hope my experiences show me that that's not all there is.
Well, and I think that, practically, it's I think it's possible to have a more fulfilling life if you believe in something, maybe not for everybody, but for some people, I think it's a big benefit.
But it's these conversations could go for hours, and you know that.
They absolutely can. Yeah, I've taken up a bunch of your time, man. Let me just check really quick. Just want to make sure I got. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered everything I want to cover. Maybe let's take some chat questions and then
let's go.
And then I can let you go. I know there were a lot of them earlier.
Yeah, I know, and I'm trying to follow all of them, but I was.
It's a lot. But yeah,
looking at your avatar.
If anybody has a question that didn't get answered, put it in the chat. Have you ever used the triangle of art?
Yes. Before I started doing the work that I do, I did a couple of Goetia spirit, with the triangle of art.
Yeah.
I drew it on plastic, and it worked really well. But I will tell you that I never constrained the spirit. I never said, if you don't do this, I will, give you this incantation, drive you nuts. I never did anything like that.
Okay.
But I've had spirits at that moment, like when I contacted Baal first, it was I would say it was a bit frightening. It was because it was very fierce in a way of, why you call me, and when I see these spirits, I see them very clearly in my head. It's so clear that
like an image, like a vision.
It's a vision.
Wow.
But the vision's so strong that I could feel its outlines in reality. You understand? Like, I've worked with my astral vision so well that I could see the outline. I know it's not there, but it's in my head so much that it could feel like it's taking over me. Okay?
Yeah, right.
So, and I feel like I had to ground myself when I'm dealing with the spirit, and I think because I read so much about what kind of spirit this is, it was showing me, well, this is what you read, this is what you're getting.
Your confirmation bias is sort of a thing, right?
So yes, I worked with that for a couple of times. In the beginning, I've used angelic names, and then I started using demonic names. Was there a difference? No, no difference whatsoever.
Interesting. Do you have a meditation practice? And if so, what is that like?
Usually my meditation practice would be doing a middle pillar and then sitting in silence.
Okay.
I try to sit in silence to actually just try not to... in one of my videos, I've said I have a bit of ADD.
Yeah.
Okay. And I feel magic makes me focus better.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's why I released a video about mental health and magic, because I do feel a lot of people stray away from it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there are magicians are afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, I love that. Someone asked, well, they just said psychedelics question mark, so you can take that however you want.
I've tried LSD a couple of times when I was younger, but all I did is just play video games. So
Rad.
there was no video, there was no, magic and drugs. No,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
already, you're already in a state of different consciousness. I really don't feel, some people are different, but I feel that it's, it's not a good idea unless you're so, like, a lot of people in where I live started doing ayahuasca,
Yeah,
and I've never done it. I do feel that if I do it, I don't think it's a good idea because I'm already so connected to that world that I
mm,
feel that it'll be a bit too much. I do feel
yeah,
that people who are very grounded and can't get out of themselves, I feel it's helpful for therapy.
yeah, yeah,
Only
sure.
probably with a shaman or a trained professional.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess I never thought about that. How I bet if you were to trip on something like that, it would probably be a wildly different experience, uh, than what is typically reported, because you're a lot of people when they do ayahuasca, they talk about coming into contact with Mother Ayahuasca and like a loving female entity, and this sort of just sounds like what you're doing on a weekday anyway. So
Exactly, but maybe at one point I might feel the urge to do or get an answer out of that, but I don't feel the urge. You got to feel what you need to feel. Oh my God, that just sounded so corny, but you know what I mean.
no, I know what you mean too. Yeah, I haven't done psychedelics in a long time because I feel like I don't really need to. Um, what else? There were some other ones. Have you ever attempted to use magic to influence another person? What are your thoughts on the ethics of magical influence?
It depends on the situation.
Okay.
I've used it to influence some things because I felt that certain things were treated unfairly.
Uh-huh.
But before doing any type of magical, what's the difference between influencing somebody going to the movie theater or influencing somebody else to do something else magically? I don't see a damn difference.
Interesting.
Okay, think of it, but it depends. I mean, what you're actually going to do.
Yeah.
But I always would read a tarot card reading to see how it's going to turn out, so I don't have any, doubts in my mind.
You're dipping your toes in the pool before you jump.
Oh, heck yeah, because you don't want that thing to bite you in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool. Interesting.
And I recommend everybody to read their tarot if they have to feel that they have to do. But I don't agree changing, like some people do, ask me about love spells and things of that matter. And
Yeah.
I feel that it's fine doing a spell to make yourself more attractive to whomever you want.
Ah,
But don't point it at somebody. Understand? Don't change somebody's mind. You know,
interesting.
make sure it's not pointed at everybody. It's like I just want to make a spell to make myself look more attractive. Don't say I want to make my spell to make more attractive to a certain person or anything because I don't agree to influence that way. Okay, I wouldn't like somebody to do that to me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, after this person because if the spell wasn't there, I wouldn't be. So.
That's very interesting. Yeah, yeah. I guess you do have to draw a line for yourself there, and yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I'm very
Some
happy I have
magicians
never had
do
to
it.
think about
So,
that.
some magicians would do it. They don't
Sure.
care.
Yeah.
I feel that you're forcing somebody to do it. What is it? Probably it's like spirit rape,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sounds like it to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it actually works, then yeah.
yeah. I don't think that's right.
Yeah. I don't either. Um, I'm scrolling. I don't know. Any other questions? I think, yeah, man. I think maybe that. Yeah, I think that's it, man. I got a lot out of this. It's really fun to talk to you.
No, I really had a great time, man. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed your viewers. I think they're awesome.
They're very funny.
Oh, I cracked up the last time I saw it.
That's so good. Yeah, we've been a fan of yours for a while, so it's cool to talk to you.
No, I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate everyone that came to see this chat.
Yeah, man. I think everybody's been looking forward to it. Cool, man. Well, yeah, I'll talk to you again soon, and
Absolutely.
yeah, maybe we can have you on again down the line, or it'd be cool to if I have questions about magic and stuff, I'll shoot you an email.
Absolutely.
Right on, man. Well, yeah, have a good night.
You too, man. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Spektor Baal. Well, how about that? Sometimes you send an email and it changes the night of your life. Thanks for hanging the heck out with me. Shoot, yeah, what do we think? We love Spec, I know that. Super nice guy. Got a lot to think about. After that. I think that's very fun. Cool. Well, here's the deal. We have a Patreon. And that's here. Okay?
That's here.
Fuck. I will send him a sticker. I actually will. He's super nice. We did like a little test run, little tech rehearsal, about an hour before the stream, and we talked for like 40 minutes. Just super nice guy. Cool. Well, I want to see if he'll take a look at my project. Here's the deal. I didn't really prepare any videos because I just wanted to talk to Spec. So we'll do a patron stream, and let's dig in. Let's pick this apart. How did it make you feel? How do you what's the deal? Maybe I'll put the link to the patron stream in the general on the Discord. Give everybody a little treat, a little preview, and we can talk about it. I'd love if some people. Oh yeah, I know. I do have to spank myself. Here we go. Spektor. Yeah, let's maybe just kind of like hang out and talk in the patron stream. All right, that sounds good to me. Catch up with everybody, see how we all feel, and that's a whip crack. Oh, we love a whip crack. Oh yeah, and sound alerts are back on.
I don't have any tolerance for lying.
All right, I'll see you guys in like 10-15. Okay.
Satanists.